Hey, good night, everyone, and welcome to the Uncomfortable Conversation. Tonight's conversation is why women leave good men. On last episode, we did why men leave good women. And after last episode, it was brought to my attention that we didn't talk about the most important thing, why men leave women, and who knows what that is. What did we leave out last week? Anybody?
I don't believe. I hope it's not about sex.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's what we said. But men, that was one of the top reasons. I don't know, in my opinion, if it's a top reason, but it's definitely a contributing factor.
Gotcha.
Okay. One of the things that was mentioned is that from the men, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, you men, that they said when they first date the woman, they can have sex whenever. And as soon as they get that piece of paper signed and the ring, it becomes, I'm tired, not tonight. Um, the unattractiveness with the rollers in the hair, the granny panties.
Oh,
So I don't know, you guys,
Mm.
that correct? Or would that be a contributing factor for you?
I can say to some degree that it's so. And I think, well, I believe sometimes it becomes, I don't need to put out, I don't need to give. I got what I want. So now I am going to take a different direction, and you get what I give when I give, and that's it.
That makes sense. Um,
it's also people become too comfortable, and then they believe that I already got it, so I don't know. I don't have to do anything.
that's true.
Yeah, take it for granted.
All right. I think though that another thing is that with that is a lack of communication, because when I think of in some women and when I think of some men who cannot perform, they also refrain from sexual intercourse. Women do the same thing if they have some type of mental issue that they make them feel less than a man or a woman. They would not communicate that to their partner, being embarrassed or don't want you to know that they have certain ailments. With men, they withdraw because they don't want you to know that they cannot have an erection. Sound about right?
Yeah, that I can see that. And as you said, a lot of it comes about because of inhibitations.
Yeah, because when you have certain, I guess would call it deficiency that you don't want, and it makes you feel inadequate. Then that way you just don't want your partner to know instead of really communicating these are the issues that I'm having. Therefore, it's misunderstood as you're not interested in your partner anymore.
Yeah. And I guess it can come from a standpoint where sometimes you're in a relationship and you don't know quite where you stand with someone. And when you open up in certain areas and you get slammed, and then it's like, okay, for something over here I'm being beaten upon, why am I going to expose this over here? So let me keep quiet and keep my deficiencies or inadequacies to myself. Because in some other places, you showed up and it was demeaned.
So, okay, agree with that. Um,
Well,
I
how
think
do you
that's all.
know that the person's deficiencies isn't a result of the person becoming comfortable?
With there's, as the Beverly said, lack of communication. But sometimes, if you open yourself in certain areas, and some persons don't pay attention to that or ignores it, when it becomes something more important, you feel less likely to open up about it.
That's correct. That's correct. Because that's one of the things that's mentioned about, women leaving men. There's the lack of communication, and you don't understand. If you always avoiding being intimate with that person with no valid reason, then your partner think that you're no longer interested in them.
I think, like you also said, like with communication and over a period of time, depending on your age, like 20s, 30s, 40s, it's good if you open up the relationship. So, like some women would say, well, intimacy is more than just a physical. So, let's bring more romance. Where's the love letters, the little notes? Going out, doing more. Then let's say open up when we use the word freaky or expand our intimacy. Because the women get bored. As men, we pretty much can see them looking for that attention somewhere else. If it's not something physically wrong, or he's not into the women because he's more focused on work, trying to take care of this. And if you have kids too, that can wear on a woman.
Okay, so why do you believe other reasons why women leave men?
They're getting out of shape.
I suppose you're out of shape.
Men could be abusive.
Ooh. Think about that one.
Absolutely.
Self-centered,
That
domineering,
Mhm.
possess.
feel like I own you. I paid for you, I own you. I take care of everything, I own you.
Yeah.
Mm. And maybe the status too. If your man's not rising over the period of years,
Mhm.
women leave guys over that.
True.
Also expectations,
Mhm.
or realistic expectations in some cases.
Or unrealistic, I think so.
Mm.
So some of the things that's mentioned is why women leave good men. It's they find them boring.
Boring?
Yes.
Boring.
Boring.
They're right.
You're too
Satisfied.
stable. Yep.
Okay. The next top reason is the appearance. They body odor, they just no longer look good.
Yeah.
That's a hygiene problem.
Of course. Yeah, so how you smell. I mean, just think about, that applies to females. Just think about you trying to get intimate with somebody that you can't even stand their smell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could be the food or the drinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you ask, and that goes male and female, just imagine that you're asking your partner to shower before you be intimate with them. They probably feel insulted, right?
Some people probably would.
Yeah, but it should be a normal thing. Especially if you're out all day, depending on the type of job you have. But I just feel regardless, you should anyway, because a lot of women are very sensitive. And just imagine, you use the bathroom all day long and you just come home intimate.
Yeah, men are coming in the house and ready to kiss and hug on you. So
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so one of the other reasons is, okay, the lack of passion. old sex. Old sex means that your same routine, okay, in the bed, you're not adventurous, no foreplay.
Mhm.
No
One of the,
afterplay. What about afterplay?
well, you gotta do before and after, right?
Right?
But emotional neglect, and as you mentioned before, abusive, controlling. A lot of it again is trust issues, because a lot of women has trust issues. Or they would take, the other one is past experience. A lot of females take their past experience and bring it into the relationship. Which they call baggage,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it could, and it's not necessarily something bad, because it could be that you've been raped, whatever the case may be. You had an abusive partner, so now you move that into that relationship, which makes you the lack of trust, or
Mm-hmm.
you always concerned about, is that person gonna leave me? So you live in that constant fear. And in some instances, you have to just be, you ever see some people in relationship that when they're with their partner, especially females, you're this perfect person, and then when you're with your friends, you're a different person, and your partner doesn't even know that you kind of like have that double life going on.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of females like that.
Right.
They can't be themselves, or they're afraid to be themselves because they have that facade going on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's good and bad to that. The good thing is your experience, but the other part is I'm pretending to be somebody or something that I'm really not in the relationship. Okay, and suddenly that I don't love you anymore. I love you, but I'm not attracted to you anymore.
Right.
Right? So there's a lot of others that will like move into as we go on. But what are some of the other reasons that you guys could think of? I would say. So
Hey
women, why
guys,
do
what's
you
going
think
on?
men? Hey, Dwayne, how
I'm
are
here.
you?
Yeah, sorry, I've been a little tied up at work, so I ain't been on in a little while. But this is a great topic, by the way. Right?
Thank you. Okay.
You said what are some of the reasons that
Mhm.
that women leave good men?
Good men, yes.
I think the number one reason is what you said. They're boring. A lot of women tend to tell you that they want this perfect man that understands them and opens up to them emotionally and does all this and that and blah 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 blah. That's not what they want. Because a lot of times, if you look at their track record of the men they have dated, none of them meet that category. They're all a-holes. They're all broke. They're all that complete opposite of what they said they want. So if you want to see what type of woman, or what type of man a woman likes, just look at the past guys that she dealt with. My prime example of that is Ciara, right? Because Ciara was really popular. She had her history, whatever she had, and then Russell Wilson ended up picking her up, who's a very corny, boring guy, right? But according to her, he's given her everything that she wants. But for some reason, she's still on social media twerking on cars and, putting gold teeth in her mouth and, going out with her friends and still living the same life she was living before she met Russell Wilson, right? So I'm gonna have a bet that they're not gonna last 5 years. And she's gonna end up back with the type of man that she really likes, which is the future type. That's the type of guy she's dating. So I don't think women don't like nice guys. If that term good men or nice guys finish last didn't come from nowhere. Women don't like guys like that. They like edgy guys. They want drama. Women like drama. Women like knowing that their man is sought after by other women. They like knowing that. That's like I've never met a woman that didn't tell me, I don't like the fact that other women want my man. I mean, am I lying? Tell me if anybody thinks differently about that.
Well, that's true, because the way my philosophy in that, if I'm with a man and nobody
Mhm.
else find him attractive, I think something wrong with him.
Exactly. See, you see what I'm saying? So I always say
Okay,
women need a
so you have
little
to
bit of
act.
drama.
You don't have to act on it, but just the fact that somebody else pays him attention.
Yeah, but if he's a
See,
perfect man, he's already paying you attention.
Of course, but if
because
it,
this is like that double-edged sword
of course,
where
Eric, what up, bro?
this is why like because even like going back to last week's topic when we talked about why do good men leave good
Men
women,
leave good women.
why good men leave good women. So because check this out, because even like on a dating standpoint, right, men have to do so much to get the attention of a female to the point where it seemed like they're chasing them. And then once you conquer this so-called mountain, now it's like I did all this and then I did all this for this female, and now all of a sudden, like I don't really like this chick.
Mhm.
So I did all that and I just wasted my time. So now, I'm gonna do me.
Mhm. Well,
And then, and then vice versa, because like, this guy I went to high school with, the other day he on Facebook boo-hooing about how, he just gives up on life because he's been cheated on. He's a good dude. And it's funny too, because like one of the chicks who he used to date in high school, I had a conversation with her and she said basically the same thing that Dwayne is saying, is that, he's corny, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, he's a good dude. So it's like, it's
Can't win for losing.
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So
it's
everything-
women don't like corny. Women don't like good men. That's not what
Good
they
and
want.
corny is two different things. Remember that.
Well, good is
and
usually corny. No,
No,
good is usually corny. I don't.
No.
How do you separate the two?
corny means that you're not paying me any attention. You don't do anything. You're not into
No,
anything. That's
That's not-
corny.
That's not corny.
No, that's not
That's why
corny.
I disagree
Corny,
with you.
corny means that you don't have no edge. You don't have no. There's no thrill to you. There's no like when you walk in a room, you don't demand no attention. You're just a corny guy. Like you might walk funny, you might talk funny, you might not be popular, you might not be in the music that everybody's into. That's corny. Corny is
And
not
you
that you
think-
don't do anything. Corny's like swag. You don't have no swag or you don't have no style. That's what corny is.
I must be a weirdo.
You might be corny.
I'm not corny.
Now I was messing with you. No, but that's what corny is. Yeah, if you're a good man, most good men, when you say like when somebody says, let's say two women are talking to each other about a man, and she's gonna say, "Girl, he's a good man." 9 times out of 10, that's her way of saying he's corny. Like
Well-
he'll take care of you, he'll treat you good, but he's gonna be corny. That's usually what that means.
For
Most
me,
of the time.
good man
We'll
mean
take
he's
that- no, we'll take
abusive.
that
That's what
mention.
when I hear good man, that's code word for asshole, For me, that's saying.
It's what?
Good,
Say
a
that-
good man.
Sorry, say that
Yeah,
again.
when someone say, "Oh, he's a good man," to me, he's abusive. Like they
What?
normally
What?
say a man
Excuse
is
me?
a good man to cover up his imperfections. It's like
Ex-
normally I always see that when a girl likes a guy and he's real jerk, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he a good guy," and then she finds out after she's dating him like he's a jerk, and then she's like, "Well, why y'all didn't tell me that?" I see it a lot. So to me, my experience, when someone say, "Oh, he's a good guy," I like start looking for some kind of red flag. Seriously.
Hmm.
Oh,
That's
okay.
interesting.
That's
I'm
some
about
person
to
who's
say.
using the opposites.
Especially
Yeah,
when
right
men say it. When men say he's a good guy, I don't trust it. He abusive. Think about it.
Abusive.
If he say
How
he's
did
a
you
good guy,
How did you get there?
Normally, because normally when I see men say, "Oh, he a good guy, he a good guy," yeah, man, he a good guy. The guy is a real jerk. Seriously, they just be covering for him, and then the girl
No.
finds out. I seen it. He a good guy. They always say that. He a good guy every time. When someone say he's a good guy, I have to ask them, "Well, what do you mean he's a good guy? What's good about him? What does he do that's so good?" Because normally good guy is a cover up for an asshole. That's what I've
Excuse me?
seen from my experience.
Oh,
When
okay.
someone says somebody is a good guy, they're normally covering up his imperfections. So they just say, "Oh, he's a good guy." They don't want to tell you he's abusive, he's neglectful, he's so and so. They won't tell you that. They'll just sum it up. He's a good guy, and then later on down the line, you find out he's not a good guy. So I never trust the good guy theory. No.
Well, I'm a good guy.
You got to stop listening to whoever's telling you he's a good guy.
Exactly. That's my
they're the
point.
problem.
Prove it.
Not the good guy. I think they're the problem.
Hmm. That's it. That's interesting.
Yeah, because I'm a good guy. I'm
Yeah.
abusive.
Right, but you know,
You said you abusive?
I'm not abusive.
Oh, I thought you
but
said I'm a good guy and I'm abusive.
No,
no,
so
but
I'm a good
Your
guy.
do
good
you
guy speaks for
right?
itself, Mr. Husband. Nobody has to like debate. It's Mr. Husband. We can tell the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way how you deal with situations that you're a good guy. Nobody have to illiterate. So if someone wants to say, what is it about Mr. Husband that's nice? They'll say, oh my God, he's smart. He's an accountant. He can help you. They tell you specifically things about him. But when they
Got you.
just brush it over, he's
Oh,
a good
okay.
guy.
They-
It's normally
right.
something
No,
they're covering up.
I
Okay,
got you.
so Vanessa, what about all these profession, as you just described, what make Mr. Husband a good guy? What about all these professional guys who are abusive? They go to work, they're Mr. So-and-so at the job, but at home they're
Mhm.
abusive.
Oh yeah, there's a saying, pillar
Right,
of
so would,
community, abusive at home. Yeah, we know that. So we can't always say that because somebody is doing good. We just gotta have a hunch. It's a hunch that you go by, and you could be right, you could be wrong, but you go by your own intuition as a woman, not by what someone else tells you, unless they can give you specifics. I always deal with get to the nitty gritty of what you're talking about, and don't just give me a generalized statement about an individual.
well, you know what, I view it like this, anybody has to go around and tell you who they are. It's kind of like Christians. I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. You ever hear these
Yeah,
people
I
say
can
that?
see. Right.
I'm leery of them. And it's the same, same concept for me. If you have to keep trying to prove to me who you are, then that's a red flag.
Definitely.
Because by your actions,
You find
that
out
would show me who you are.
that I
But
agree with.
even if you tell a woman, or a man, hey, stay away from this person because they're not really good people, they're still gonna give them a shot if they want to.
Of
I mean,
course.
based on based on her logic, if I tell you, hey, you don't want to mess with him, he's not a good guy, she's still gonna try to figure out on her own. So I mean, whether he's a
But
good guy or not, if that's the logic that's being used, you're still gonna find out for yourself. If you still want to find out, if you don't want to listen to what nobody else is telling you. Because I'd rather
and
somebody tell me somebody's a good person than for them to tell me they're a bad person. I'm
Right.
gonna apply the logic a little differently.
well,
But-
and sometimes it is I can change him. I can
Yeah,
change.
yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
that's
There you go. That's number one. Oh,
When
I
the-
could change him. He probably don't take care of those kids, but he'll take care of this one.
Right.
Like what?
right.
I see it and hear it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right. But again, as you compare Sierra, who determines what's a good person, Or-
Yeah,
and
that
then-
that person determines it. But here's the problem with Sierra, right?
Mhm.
Sierra, the issue I have with Sierra is this. Sierra had a situation with Future, right? Sierra's the typical ladies that men complain about, right? They date these guys that are known toxic, known abusive, known not, don't take care of their kids, baby makers. Future had about 5 kids when he met Sierra already, by like 4 different women, right? So he had 5 kids, 4 different women. But for some strange reason, she thought that she was going to be the one that he's going to settle down with and get married to. And then when reality struck and they realized, hey, you're just another baby mama, they break up. Now she's dragging him in on the court, trying to get money from him for child support, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to make his life a living hell, going on every radio station, talk about how bad of a father he is because he only made 80% of the events that the son had, which if you talk to any parent, 80% is pretty good. You
Oh, yeah.
can't make it to every single event, right?
Correct.
So he's complaining, saying he only made it to like 80% of the stuff that his son had. And she just kept complaining. And no one stopped for a second and said, you didn't see the other 4 baby mamas that were saying the exact same thing before you decided to have a baby with them? Right?
Mhm.
And instead of people saying, hey, you use your common sense next time. Like you already saw these red flags and you ignored them. Now all of a sudden you want people to feel sorry for you and act like, you want people to feel sorry for you, act like as if this stuff didn't mean anything. Like you You didn't notice none of this stuff. And then you end up getting with Russell Wilson, who's a great guy, by the way. He's an amazing, like, I know she don't like people saying he's a good man, but he's literally a good man to her. And you would think she would be like, you know what? I lucked up because let's keep it real. In reality, if a woman was to deal with a regular guy like Future that had all them baby mothers, living the life that he was living, and you lay down and had a baby with him, what man is gonna come and pick you and your child up and take care of y'all the way that Russell Wilson is taking care of her now? So you would think that she would stop all the stuff she was doing and stop disrespecting this man, but she continues to disrespect him over and over and over. And I'm gonna say within the next 2 years, she's gonna find a way to divorce this man and say that he was toxic or abusive, or put the regular nonsense that they put out there that you don't need proof for. Oh, he was verbally abusive to me, so I had to leave. And no one's gonna say, well, what did he say that was so verbally abusive? The people just believe this crap. And
Right.
this is the type of stuff I don't understand. This is why good men always end up finished last. They always end up at the end of the line because of the fact that they put these women on a pedestal, right? And they devote their whole life to these women. And the minute it gets boring, these women just leave them.
Okay, but
So I'm going to say 2 more years.
But doesn't that say the same thing for his character, just like you said about women after those men? Because he knows her track record, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
Right,
he's just as
but-
delusional as she is.
Correct. So,
But that's why men call him a simp. That's why men call him simp, or we call him corny, because you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure. So you're putting
Correct.
everything into this woman that already showed you she's not deserving of that type of that type of man. She's not. She can't. She don't have the capability to handle that type of man. She already showed you this, but you still
Right.
decided to. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna marry her. I'm gonna have all my kids with her. I know she acts a little wild. I know she's on Instagram twerking. I know she's doing all these things. The other day she put out a song talking about this for all my single women getting to the money like me. You're not single, man. You're married to a filthy rich person, but you out here telling other women to stay single and stay strong. Like it doesn't make no sense to me. None of it
You're
makes
right.
sense. So he
It
just as
doesn't-
fault as she is.
it doesn't make sense to you, but check that out. It makes sense to all these strong Black women that don't need a man, right? So
But these women do need men.
that's-
They do need men. But that's the crazy
I'm
part.
saying,
They do
but
need
do
men.
you notice all these women are playing that for the Black women, and I'm going to say Black women because the Black woman is the only one that does that, but they follow that, right? Beyonce do the same thing.
Well,
So different. In a
I can't say
different way.
Beyonce. Yeah, I can't say Beyonce does that.
Not
Beyonce
to
doesn't
that
push.
level, but
I don't. When she was with Destiny's Child, when she was single, yeah, she pushed it. But since she's been married, even her song, people like to bring up the song she made called "Single Ladies." She
Yep.
literally said in the song, "If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
correct.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Don't be mad when you find out he won it." So she's basically telling you, "Hey, I'm single because he wouldn't take me seriously." So she's still pushing relationships. It's not just, oh, ladies, let's be single. Let's do this ourselves. Who wants to? I haven't met a woman that truly wants to be out here and do everything by herself. You know what they all say? I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this no more. I put up a post on Facebook the other day, and there must have been 20 or 30 women under the post agreeing that they're tired of being strong Black women. They're tired of it. What woman wants to do that for real? It's cool at first.
With
Is
that,
it-
I think
it
that
really-
when you don't have something, it's easy to say, I don't want it,
Yes.
right? And then a lot of women, especially if they're single and it's the same boat as you and they don't want you to do better than them. If you say, oh, I need a man or want a man, they will say, why you need a man for? Or they
Exactly.
judge you. So in other words, you have to keep that to yourself and say, you know what, oh, I don't need a man because your friends are going to judge you and they're going to call you desperate, right? Because the minute
And
a
a
woman
pick-me.
says she want a man, she's desperate.
Yeah, she's a pick me, which is ridiculous. It don't make no sense because I've never heard a man say, I don't want no woman.
Never
I've
heard it
never
either.
heard that.
Unless
I've never
he
heard a
been
man say,
damaged and
we
he's
don't like.
Unless he's one of those other ones.
Exactly. And they still need women because they need women to be their friends. You know what I'm saying? So they still need them. I think when it comes to stuff like that, women they're delusional because they really think they can go through life without like actually needing a man. So I would tell any woman that, that has that mindset or they feel like they can actually live without a man, I'm going to say, okay, cool. Did you ever call 911? Who showed up? Did you ever go to a mechanic? Who fixed your car? Like I literally know women that's calling themselves strong Black women and have a strong base of men around them. You're not a strong Black independent woman with a strong base of men, with strong men around you. You're in a partnership. You're not a women cannot do this without men, just like men can't do this without women. Let's be for real. Like let's kill all of this. I don't need no man nonsense because it's really not working out for women with that mindset. Because what they say last year, 30 or 40% of evictions were single black women. Obviously, you can't do it on your own. If 40% of y'all, if 40% of evictions were single black women, what does that tell you? They're the highest educated, the most student loan debt, most evicted last year, most likely to never get married. Not the more education they have, the less likely they are to get married. Most likely to be a single mother. It's just every single negative. Their kids are most likely to go to jail. Like the single mother, the single thing is just not it. They need to stop playing. Go find yourself a good man, a real good man. I know they're boring, but go find yourself a good man and build an empire with. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you know what the crazy thing about that is, too, also, is that you know, when you tell women that, you know, all this strong blacks, like all that's a myth. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it's a myth.
saying? Because if you go to other communities, like for example, like if a war broke out tomorrow, right? All the women who are talking about, oh, they single and they don't need a man, blah blah blah. When a war breaks out, guess what they're gonna do? Hey, I need a man. I don't want to go fight
Bro.
this fucking war. You know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but you know, I want this
You know
man
what's
to go out and
crazy?
fight. I don't want to
You know-
fight this war.
You know, we
Because
have an example of that, right? You know, we have a recent example of that, right? You know, in Ukraine, they had a huge women's liberation movement. Where these women are saying they tired of being wives, they tired of doing this, they want to go out and do everything on their own. When Russia attacked, guess who was the first ones to get up out the country?
Women.
Women and children.
Exactly.
You think any of them picked up guns and said, no, we're gonna stay and fight? They all left. So women only want to be independent and strong when it's convenient for them. When it comes time to do the dirty work, when it comes down to hang up the back of a garbage truck, when it comes time to go in the basement and snake that line that's clogged up with all the poop and stuff in it, they don't want to do that. They only want to do it when it's convenient.
That's
Or
the
if we
new
have to.
generation. For us older folks, that's how we, because even when I tell women now, I'm not the type who's gonna go dig a ditch, climb a telephone pole. I just still believe that there's just certain things that's a man's job.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. There's
We
certain things that are
women
men's
just,
job and certain things that are women's job.
right,
But for
so
some reason, if
just
you
that
point out what's a women's job, you're being a
you're
misogynist or you're
racist and
sexist.
sexist,
Yeah,
correct?
exactly. Like
Okay.
I always tell my wife, like I want her to take care of me. For some reason, that's frowned upon now for a man to actually ask a woman to take care of him. But I got to pay the bills. I got to pay the mortgage. I got to make sure there's a roof over the head. If anything breaks, I got to make sure it gets fixed. I got to run all these businesses. I got to make sure the cars stay fixed. I have all these jobs that are my jobs. And a woman would tell you in a second, that's your job. But the minute you say, hey, babe, can you wash those dishes for me? Oh, what do you think I am?
Your maid?
What? Yeah, you think I'm your maid? What? When your tire was flat, who fixed your tire yesterday? You think I'm your maid? Like it doesn't make no sense to me. It makes zero sense. It's like I just chalk it up to it's all about convenience. What's convenient
Right.
for them? A lot of women just want the fruits of life, but they don't want to actually put the work in to get the fruits of life.
But isn't
You know what I'm
that just
saying?
this modern day women?
Yeah, it's modern. Yeah, and that's why they're losing. That's why modern women are losing. You know what I mean? They're losing. If you look at every single statistic, they're not winning in nothing. And black men
Exactly.
still make more on average than black women make. So where's all these big time jobs that they claim they're getting? How come they average ain't going up? Like it's nothing that they're doing. They're only hurting themselves by Xing the black man out of their lives.
Yeah, but but black women still makes more than black men.
No, they don't. On average, no,
No,
they
they
don't.
don't. No, they don't.
They don't.
No, they
No,
don't.
they do not. No, they do not. The average black man makes,
Certain field,
I think
certain
it's
career.
39,000.
Certain field, okay, that's a correct
Yeah.
Yeah,
statement. Certain,
but you have fields where black men make more than black women. But on average, between all
certain.
the fields, I think black women on average made 34,000, and black men made like 37 or something like that. So we still make more on average between all the fields. And when it comes to engineering, any type of mechanical work, engineering work, what was the other one? Scientific work, any type of work involving any of those fields where they're begging women to come in, women are non-existent in those fields. You know why? Because they actually have to work to be in those fields. You have to get your hands dirty. You have to do things that are not considered womanly. in order to do these fields. I just want you guys, next time you guys are driving down the street, you see a garbage truck, tell me how much women you see hanging off the back of that garbage
I
truck.
never seen one. So.
And you never will, because women don't want to do that work. But they'll
I
tell you
wouldn't do it. I
they're
wouldn't either.
fighting. Women's liberation is fighting so you can have that job. They don't want that job. Women want to be known women want to go straight to the top. They don't want to work their way up. You know, like how a man got to start in the mailroom and work his way up to the company.
Because-
Women want to jump right into leadership positions and then complain that there's nobody in leadership positions.
But you know why? That's how they see the colonizers' daughters, granddaughters are doing it. So a lot of Black women now think that they have that same privilege.
But here's the problem with even that mindset, because again, you have to look at things from an overall perspective. You can't just look at one thing. So they can say, oh, his daughter got that position because that's his daughter. Who started the company?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So the father,
have that mindset.
the father, most likely the father, the white guy got married, had a child, built up his company so that way his kids don't gotta work for nobody. Same thing I'm doing now. My kids work for me now. They're only 11, 9, 8, and 3. They work for me now. But I'm building up companies where they don't got to go work for somebody else. So if I decide to put my daughter in the management position, it's because I want to put my daughter in the management position. So what if you want to be a Black woman, you want to be able to do that, build a family unit, build a family unit and build up your company and then put your kids in position. Don't complain that, oh, he did this and did that, because where were you when he was in the garage? You was nowhere to be found when he was in the garage starting his business. So don't complain about how somebody run their business. You know what I mean? And if you want that position, work for it like everybody else got to do. You got to work for it. And Black women are beasts. Black women are in these companies moving up quick. But it's only they all want to be in the same field. You know what I mean? And then they turn around and they look down on men that don't make 6 figures, which is wild. It's just crazy to me. Crazy to me.
They're programmed that way though. That's the slave mentality that's fed to them.
No,
you know,
no,
that
no.
was
It's not even. It's
and
not
the
even a slave
divide and
mentality.
conquer, of
It's
course.
no. It's not a slave mentality. Because at the end of the day, as a woman, you want the best available man that's going to take care of you. So
Keyword
it's just,
available.
exactly. It's human nature. So, but my thing is, but then that's when human nature versus reality don't set in. It's not making sense, because on average, only, I think it's like the statistic is like only like 2 or 1% of men make over $100,000 a year. So my thing is, a lot of women live in this pipe dream that think like every man makes over $100,000, and that's not the case.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that women realize that they're making more than men. So it's not that they think that men are making that type of money. Otherwise, they would not have that mindset. And like y'all mentioned before, women are not looking for the most available man. They're looking for the type of man that they want or think that they should have. Some of them, that's why you all talk about they like the bad boys, right? Because a lot of them feel that the bad boys have what they want. And sometimes it's not the money, unless you go after the drug ones. That's why they say, hold on, I saw a saying the other day that says, how come an educated Black, well, this used to Black woman, but an educated woman with a college degree, with a master's degree, a doctorate degree, could be played by a bum, an uneducated man?
Because they're not streetwise.
No, but they already
Charisma.
no, but they already know he's not professional, nothing, right? But the heart wants what it wants. It doesn't care.
Nah, it's not even about the heart, what it wants. It, like I said, when you really break down relationships nowadays, right? Most relationships are just about a facade. So if you're very good at pretending like you're something but not actually being what you could actually get a female. Because
Right.
with the advent of social media, it's easy to manipulate and to lie to people.
Yeah, but even before that busting social media, that they are intelligent women, like you said, with the degree that get played by men who are street guys. So does he come with a good game?
Yeah,
Yep.
Apparently.
absolutely.
You're a charmer, you can do that. That's how these guys in jail. So I don't know why these women fall for him, but these guys in jail,
They go
Hey,
and
Tom.
marry them, right? They go and they marry these guys in jail.
Oh man. So ironically, interesting that you bring this up. So I don't know, everybody should know. I used to work at a juvenile detention center. So crazy enough, you have a lot of these young corrections officers who get involved with these guys. And my thing is, besides the whole idea that, that they're underage and you're a grown person, it's like, what is this person bringing to your life where you're really risking your freedom?
Adventure, excitement.
So again, when we talk about like relationships, it's like, sadly, the way it's going for Black women is that a lot of Black women going to die single, because a lot how they approach life is just nonsensical. Because like I said, even bringing up like the guy I went to school with, and it's like you give up stability for adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what it is, adventure. People like
No, I
adventure.
don't think it's adventure. I think that in the DNA of a woman, she needs protection. So if you're a man and you exude some type of testosterone that shows that you have the ability to protect a woman, she will be more attracted to you than a man who shows more progesterone, who shows more femininity, which I guess that's what y'all will call lame, or what the word y'all use. But the reason why they would more be attracted to what y'all would call the bad guys is because in their DNA, they have to seek out men that will protect them from a long time ago when we were living in the bushes with the wild animals. So we have that ingrained in us to find men that have that type of aggression or testosterone that's high leveled, so that they would protect. It's just something in the DNA. So if you are a man and you do not exude testosterone, you exude more progesterone, and she's a heterosexual woman, then you would not be attracted to her. You may be a good friend, like, oh, you make a great friend. But as far as her choosing you to pass her DNA on because she wants her children to have the strongest DNA. So if you do not exude that, she's not going to choose you in her psyche, as good as you are. So if you're a good guy and you exude testosterone, she will go for you. But if you're a good guy and you do not exude testosterone, she would not choose you.
So
Well, shit, if you got money, she gonna choose you.
Well, that's different. That's different. You could be a wimpy guy and have money, of course, because then you could provide. You see, it's protection and provision. It's both is good, but you can choose one over the other,
So that's the reason why women to go to school for 10 years to become, big time of the company and dealing with a street guy.
Well, the reason why women go to school is to find a husband. It's like the reason why
But that's the reason why they don't find. That's the reason why they
find
don't find a husband.
Why?
Well,
Because they're in
nowadays
school.
guys
No,
are
but
not marriage interested. So but back in the days, most women found their mate through
in school.
school,
Right.
Yeah.
So, what did Dwayne just say?
okay, so what's interesting is that I don't think you addressed what I said, because I'm not understanding how you give up stability for joy or entertainment.
That's all it is. They're giving it all up for.
Yeah.
Well, the edgy guys are more entertaining than the non-edgy guys. They're the guys who will put you on the back of a bike and drive you at high speeds through, you know what I'm saying? Like, they tend to do more fun things than the guys who are afraid. Oh, I'm scared to ride a bike. No, you can fall, So that's more interesting. So if you are a good guy, just be interesting. That's all.
You don't necessarily have to be that adventurous.
No, but
right.
it's still not logical where you're going to be with an edgy guy that can't do nothing for you and then complain. Like,
When
Well,
you
that's
struggle
the
in life.
stupidity of the modern woman. I can't fix that.
Yeah, modern women is losing, man. They're just losing. But they're the ones that's up and leaving marriages. They're the ones that's up and leaving good men, and they're the
Because
ones
they're
that's
not,
making these poor decisions.
because they're not
And then they
family,
turn around and blame
family
men. Oh, it's the
oriented
men's
either.
fault. They're like, oh, it's
But
the
who
men's
else
fault.
are
No,
they
it's
gonna
not.
blame?
If you look at black men statistically, again, 'cause I like statistics. I think they said 30% of black men are married. 21% of black women are married. So I don't know how you have more black men that's married than black women when there are more black women than black
They
men. So that's
marry
one.
white women.
Yeah, I was about to say
Black
that.
men marry white women at almost the same rate as white men marry outside their race. So that's another myth.
You know what
The
I'm
myth
saying?
is they tell you all
If more
professional black
black
men
men
run
are
and
marrying, then they're marrying outside of their race.
They're
That's all.
right, married outside, yes.
they what?
If we have black men and black women,
Right.
and only 20% of black women are being married, and 30% of black men are married, that means that the 10% are marrying outside of their
Outside of
race.
the race, correct.
But that's not true though. White,
But
okay,
there's
as a
more,
whole,
there's more
let's
black
say
men, there's more
black
black
men-
men that marry out of
Just
the
look
race.
around.
no, that's not true.
Yes, it
Actually,
is.
I want to say, no, it's not. It's 86% of black men marry black women.
And the
89% of
10%
white
that
men
are
marry
black
white women.
Who are they married to?
What do you mean?
The men that are not married to black women, who are they married to?
Yeah, that's how much is that? 15%? So
Well,
you're
that's
saying
what I said.
you're saying
It's
out of the
10%.
30% of
You
black men
just
that are
said
married.
20 and 30, right? So that means there's a 10% gap. It's only a 10% gap of men that marry outside of their race. We didn't say all black men, just a 10%.
But see, well, look, but you're skipping the problem. The problem is, why is there more black men married, period, than black women? That's the problem. You're skipping over the problem. You're trying to find a way to put it back into the black man's life. But they're getting married.
Right,
just not marrying black women.
with other than black women, because
Yeah,
now
but why
they
is that
find,
though?
because they find black women arrogant, aggressive,
Well, is it they or
masculine.
are you, no? We're gonna speak direct. When you say they find,
The
can
black
you
man, the
admit
black
that
man.
can you admit as a black woman, and I'm pretty sure you know a lot of black women. Can you admit that there is an attitude problem amongst black women? Can you admit
I
that?
agree, right, you asked
Okay.
why, so I'm giving you the reason why.
No, I understand, but you said they feel, but I don't
Right,
think it's they feel. I think it's
rightfully so. They
valuable.
do a lot of right. No, that's
Yeah.
valid. That I agree with that. It's valid. A lot of black
So-
women, and the more educated they are, the more temperamental they are. That's probably
Exactly. So
Right?
continue with that
So-
conversation, right? So continue with that conversation. If you have more black men that are they're marrying other black women and they're marrying outside their race. Listen to everything you just said. Who's the problem? The black man or the black woman?
Both
Like,
of
who
us.
needs to look in the mirror and say, you know what? Let me fix
Both
myself.
of us need to look in the mirror. Both of us.
No, I
have
understand
to-
that, but we're talking directly. We're not doing the whole general. Everybody, we all know they all have their issues, right? But we're talking more
you do
direct.
say that black women are arrogant. You're not all, but there's a group of them that
Not all of them. No, not all of them at all.
No.
'Cause I'm married to a black woman too. She's not arrogant. But what I'm saying is, a lot of them that I meet, through what I do, my job, not my job, but my businesses. I deal with a lot of black women, and I gotta tell you, there is a attitude problem.
There is I agree with you.
Mhm.
I agree with you. But like I mentioned earlier, before, I think that they feel that they're entitled to the attitude. And
Why,
I don't think that they realize that it's working against them. Because let me say, I feel the same way about them too, because I go places and I say, like the way I was brought up, like didn't pass anybody without saying good morning, good evening. There's a lot of black people I say good morning to, they just look at me like they smell shit. You know what I'm saying? So
what's crazy?
they have an attitude because I say the same thing about them. So if I can say that, I can imagine what men say. So I'm not
Exactly. And
disagreeing with
what's
the men who
crazy?
say that,
You know what else is crazy though? You have a movement called the Passport Bros that's going on. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they're pretty much these guys.
Oh
they
yeah,
started this
yes.
movement where
they want to go. They
they're
want to
going
go to the
outside the country.
Caribbean, and they want to go
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're finding
yeah.
their wives
The
They're finding
No,
passport.
no,
wives
'cause
in
that's
different.
interesting. That's interesting because last year I went to where did I go last year? Oh, Colombia.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I'm on this plane and I see nothing but black men. I'm like, what am I missing something going up to Colombia? So then when I get to
Mhm.
Colombia, I had a conversation with somebody and they put me on game. They were like, yeah. A lot of us we come, down here 'cause we trying to find our wives because like these black
Yep.
women in America, blah blah blah. I'm like, wow.
Mhm.
But here's what's crazy though. Here's what's crazy, right? I'm gonna tell you about the whole little thing. So when
Let
the
me hear
passport
if you're gonna
bros
say.
first started,
Mhm.
when the passport bros first started, women were making fun of them. Oh, y'all just can't get no women. Y'all can't do. Y'all broke. Y'all can't do this. Y'all can't do that. When they finally started realizing who these men were, majority of these men are professionals. Business professionals, entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
executives. The higher echelon of black men are
Right,
turning
because
their
the
backs
poor
on
one,
black women and going to
yeah,
other
because
countries to find.
the poor ones can't afford to go.
Rule
Yeah,
number one, as an
exactly.
immigrant, never
Right.
date an immigrant if they do not have a visa
Right.
and they never been to the United States a couple
Right.
times, or
Okay, right.
England or Europe. If they don't have a visa already and they've never
Yeah.
been to Europe or United States, you leave them alone. I'm an immigrant, trust me.
Right,
Trust me
Vanessa,
when
that's exactly what I
Trust
tell them on there,
me.
because you know what? They said, we're going there for this, but when they talk about black women just want our money, black women just want that. Well, the passport wife just want to come to America, and 9 out of 10 times, not all, when they come here, they have a whole set of family or husband that they get ready to send for once they get their papers together.
No, no, no. Here's the catch, though.
You
Here's the
know that.
catch. Here's the catch, Spice. Here's the catch, Spice girl. You know what the catch is? They don't bring them back here. They
They go
leave
back
them
in.
in the country that they in. They don't bring them back here because they don't want them to get influenced by the African American women. So they don't even
So
bring them
when you
back. They're
leave
not
us
bringing them
back
to
there,
America.
make sure you send us money so we can take care of our boyfriend and our children. Make sure, okay?
I mean, black
Thank
women
you.
doing that here too. So what's the difference? What's
No, I'm
that?
just
Right,
saying.
What's the difference?
right, so when you're
Send
talking,
us
so
money.
who you rather get played by? They rather get played by somebody out there, because either
we
way,
love
it's a
our
game.
boyfriends, okay?
If
Our
I have
boyfriends.
a choice, Spice, gonna be for real. If I have a choice, right? If I have two women and they both gonna play me, at least I know one's gonna be washing my clothes, cooking me dinner. One is gonna be domesticated and playing me, while the other one is just living off me and playing me. So you
Right,
can get rid
because
of the one that's living off me and playing me. I'll take the domesticated one that's playing me, because at
right,
least I know
because
when I come home, it's gonna be a hot meal. My bed's gonna be made up. My kids gonna be good. So that's what they're going for.
right,
They want old fashioned women. That's what they want.
but the one back there is gonna be playing the game and see, as long as she'll be good, and hoping like one day he'll bring me to America. Right?
Yeah, because I know
That
a friend
just
of mine. His wife is his fiance lives in Colombia, and I'm like, you're not gonna move her back here? He was like, nah, she don't want to move back here, so we bought a house out there. I'm like, okay. And I keep wanting to ask him, are you a passport bro? But I don't want to be like disrespectful.
right, but
They,
but
they hate passport bros right now.
right, but you know what the thing is though, a lot of, I'm gonna say foreigners because I am a foreigner.
Mhm.
They always take care of their family back home. They sending their money. They're taking care of it. You very rarely find people in America that don't go back. Colombian, they Spanish people too, especially them. I think they're more dedicated to their family than some of us black people, right?
Yeah,
Caribbean
definitely.
people.
Yeah.
They take care of their family, their grandma, they go back, they make sure they're okay. So
Yeah.
some of the choices that the passport brothers got is they're taking care of the whole family.
Well, hey man, that's what the money's there for. It just goes to show you that there's a problem amongst, and I don't want to say all black women. I think it's
No, it's never
mostly
all.
African American. Yeah, I think it's mostly African American women that's the problem. That's where I see the problem with, because I can always tell. And like my wife is my wife was born here, but our family is Jamaican. So it's so funny because we had a conversation the other day, and I said, she said, I don't know why people are so surprised when I come and talk to them, and like, at work and all that. And she's talking and she's smiling and she's laughing, and they all be so surprised that. So I told her, I said, well, there's a stereotype going around that black women have attitudes. And she was like, and then she started laughing. She's like, what's so crazy? I just realized that the other day. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Y'all know Chick-fil-A on Route 22, right? For my people that live in Jersey.
Yep.
There's a Chick-fil-A on Route 22. Part of Chick-fil-A whole thing is everybody in there is extremely happy all the time, right? You pull up, hey, how you doing? It could be a blizzard outside, 20 inches of snow. You pull up to a Chick-fil-A window, the person that's gonna be at the window is gonna be smiling and laughing with you. The first time I ever went to a Chick-fil-A to somebody having an attitude was a black woman. And I literally asked her, why do you have to be the one to mess everything up? My daughter plays basketball, right, for Fairview Elementary School. We literally have a lot of the coaches are white women are the coaches or the assistant coaches, whatever, right? They all volunteer. And the one time there was almost a fight in the stadium was a black woman getting ready to fight a black little girl that playing on the basketball team. And it's like, why is it always black women are the ones with the attitudes and the nasty attitudes and always involved in these situations that you don't see no one else involved in?
You know what?
Right?
I totally agree to it because even the toll booth operators, those are the nastiest black people
Oh my
you could
God.
find.
DMV, you go to DMV, they
So-
don't even look at you while they talk
They
to
are
you.
nasty, right?
You know what's
Black
funny?
Americans are nasty,
But why?
period.
Nah, you
Because
know what's
I
funny?
think-
I actually had a black lady who was a toll booth operator, and I see her like a lot of times when I go to my class. Very, very nice lady, very pleasant lady. I enjoy when I go to the toll booth and I see her. I always tell her hi just for the
Is
simple fact.
is she elder?
So I don't
Either
know
that
how
or
she is.
if she's American, she's a Southerner.
Yep. The Southerners are different. You're definitely right about that.
Right.
They'll say hi to you just standing outside, like, hi, but oh, hey.
Because Southerners have the mentality of Caribbean.
Yep,
Yes.
exactly.
Um,
Family.
Right. They speak, they're jolly, they're happy people. Vanessa, you asked why? Because Black Americans think, because I know when I came to this country, and I always say, Black Americans hated us. They beat us up every damn day. Sometimes we didn't go to school because they beat us up. They have the thing, but they don't do that. They only pick on Black people, Black Caribbean.
Yep,
Okay,
exactly.
they never mess with white folks. So they
They know
think
better.
that we owe them, exactly. They think that we owe them, we took something away from them because they used to go back, you come here and you take our jobs. The job's been here forever, they didn't want it.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. And I think that's why a lot of them have the chip on the shoulder because they think that somebody took something away from them, but then it's misdirected anger. We didn't
Yeah.
do anything to them.
And
Yeah.
a lot of it comes also from the thing that we misunderstand this struggle. Because when we quote unquote got freed, we were allowed to have our own plot of land and build our own crops and stuff like that. And we had our homes. Here, they still were fighting slavery because they were being chased from the south to the north and so on and so
Yep.
forth. So
Yeah, but-
they had that
But
chip.
Mr. Husband, we were
I'm about to say that's
islands.
a false argument for the simple fact
Yeah.
that if you ever went to any Caribbean, even nowadays, towards the beaches, you have all these white corporations that own the property near the beach
Yep.
because that's the
Mhm.
resort. When you go to the inside of the island, whether it's Jamaica, whether it's Haiti, whether it's wherever you want to go, all the poor people live on the inner parts of the island, while all
Yep.
the resources that have like the resorts are on the outside, and all them taxes, they don't go back to the country to make the country better. So I
No, they
laugh
don't.
at people. I laugh at people when they start talking this nonsense about, oh, Jamaica's free and this island is free and this island is free.
No, they're
I'm
not
like,
free.
how are y'all free? Y'all don't have economic independence. I'm not
Nope.
saying
They still depend on UK.
exactly. And for a lot of these islands now, they're now being controlled by the Chinese because
the
a
Chinese
lot of these
buying them out.
Caribbean islands have a large influx of Chinese.
Yep.
But, okay, you're speaking about what's going on now. What I'm speaking about is the narrative that they believe their struggle was greater than our struggle. And we come here taking over their jobs and thinking that everything is okay. However, that's a fallacy that they have. They treat the Caribbean as if we're the enemy, come to destroy or take away from them, and we don't understand what they had to struggle in the 50s and the 60s. We're not talking about what's going on now. Not that that does not matter, but it's what I've observed when I came to this country back in the 70s and try to understand why there was that issue between Black Americans and Caribbeans and why they dislike Caribbean people so much.
Well, they embracing us now.
It's a different
Now they
story.
finally
In a-
they finally
in-
embracing us now.
in a different way,
Yes.
but they still have that
embedded
That-
feeling about us.
Right, they still do. You watch how they operate in the workplace. They'll sell you out for $1.
Yes.
Yeah, but they'll do that to American blacks too. Like,
Yeah, they do it
American
to each
blacks
other
do
too.
that. Like,
But
what?
but more so us than them, though. More so us than them. More so us than them. So yeah. But yeah, Black women do have serious attitude issues.
I don't think you
But
answered
that's why.
why though. You know, I've thought about
Right.
that, like why
Mm.
the women have attitudes, and I think it's because they're the least protected and they
No,
have
that's another foul. That's
Oh, I'm about
another
to say, I hate when
fallacy.
people,
Please.
I hate when women say that.
That's a
I
that's
hate
so
when women
fake.
say that.
That is so
Because
fake.
you want to know who the least protected women are on the planet? You want to know who the least protected women on the planet?
Who?
Native Americans. Their
Yeah.
women are the least protected on the planet because they don't exist anymore. A lot of them.
They're still here. They're still here.
Yeah,
We call
but
them Hispanic.
where
I'm
are they
sorry,
for the
we
most
just
part?
misnomer them. But they're
Black
still
women are not the least protected. Yeah, I think black women are more protected than white women are. Like I don't even know where y'all
Than
even
white
got
women
that
are.
from.
start crying.
Yes.
No,
She just has to let
Yes.
2 tears come down her face and it's over.
yeah.
You're talking
Yeah.
about you're talking about in society, but we're talking about when it comes to in our neighborhoods, right? Okay,
Same.
first of all, that whole no protection thing. Name one time in history where the black men held the black women, because I could name 1,000 times in history when the white man held his women back. Name one time in history where a black man held back the black women from being great. Just give me one time.
Tell me one that they were great. Tell me some greats that were pushed by their men first.
How you think what's name was great? How you think who you think set up the whole who's on Rosa Parks? Who you think set that up? That was that was a setup, right? See, that didn't just randomly happen. They planned that to happen so they can do the boycott. Who do you think helped? What's the name? Free the slaves. What's the name? If you know the real history, not the movie, not Harry Tubman, not the movie. The movie wasn't the real husband. The movie wasn't the real history. Yeah, Harry Tubman. Yeah, the movie wasn't the real history. There was no white man that helped her and the black man would chase her. No, that didn't happen. She had mad support from men. Majority of black women that are great today were pushed up by black men, not other men, by black men. Now show me the same story amongst white women. That don't happen for them. Their men's are the one that's holding their foot on their neck. That's why. Why do you think feminism started? Feminism started because of the white man not giving the white woman any respect. It started because the white man gave the black man more respect than he gave the white woman. That's
Right,
why
because
feminism started in the first place.
right, because if you go back to even when Obama was running, what did the white man say? He'd rather
He'd
have
rather
a
vote for a black
man
man
in
than a
the
white
White
woman.
House than have white women. And that's true,
Exactly.
because
So
let me tell
when
you, from me coming from poor American, I used to tell my friends, and they didn't used to believe me, anytime a white woman got a promotion over him, you could hear him slamming, that fucking bitch. And he goes off his rockers, seriously. And you look in and you watch them, they have their white wife, and the family picture on the desk, but they hate for them to get ahead. They don't want them to
exactly.
care.
So all that least
Yeah.
protected, that's all a bunch of nonsense.
I
It's
think we
nonsense.
confusing
And if you
power
are a
and
black woman and you
protection.
don't feel protected by men around you, you need to check your circle around you. That means you got
Oh, I
the
didn't
wrong
say
men
I
around
don't
you.
feel protected. Hello,
Not you. I'm just talking about
my
not you.
rights
I'm talking
and I
about
get it.
I'm talking about
Power
the
and
general
protection
statement that women say.
two different things. Power and protection is two different things. A white
Things.
man doesn't want to give up his power, but he will
Power.
protect his woman. You know what I'm saying?
Where you protect her at?
He
Where you
will
protect her at?
power to her, but he would protect her. So power and
Right.
protection is two different
Protect her
things.
where?
Right.
Where you protecting her at?
Look.
Oh, yeah.
No, seriously, Dwayne, look what's
Just go
happening now.
around
Look,
them and look at their woman hard and see what he does to you. Trust me.
No.
Because
First
you're
of all,
black. That's not
that ain't
because
got
of
that ain't got
your
nothing to do with protection. That ain't got nothing to do with
exactly.
protection. That ain't got nothing to do with protection. Because you also got to remember this, right? Because like people keep throwing history out there, but then we tend to be forgetful about history. So you got to understand that in order to have a power structure, you have to protect the interests of that people. So they're not protecting their women for the simple fact that they care about their women. It's to maintain power. It ain't got nothing to do with I respect you, because again, I tell students this all the time.
Exactly,
Like,
but they still
if you look
protect
at the
us.
history, if you look at the history of Europe, there's not a time period where they respected women. And when women start talking this nonsense about, chivalry is dead, chivalry is dead. First of all, chivalry started in Europe because white men had to be taught how to treat women. Nowhere
Yeah.
else in the planet that existed.
Exactly.
Because if you also look up the history of Europe, you also understand that most of the men were gay. That's how much. That's how
Yep.
little they respected women.
But he understands in order for him to stay in power, he has to protect the white woman. Because if
But
the
they
white
didn't.
woman is destroyed,
But he's not
so will
protecting her.
his
This is the point
children.
that you're not
Come on.
understanding.
He didn't protect. They didn't protect their women. Up until today, white women still. I don't know why y'all think white women's lives are so much easier and they're more protected. They're abused at
Their
a higher
life
rate
is
than are in the
easier.
black neighborhood than black women
I'm
are.
about to say, they literally made alcohol illegal because white men were beating on white women. Like what?
That's why I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't understand where y'all get this stuff. I think they
Because
just
it wasn't
anything to
illegal.
downplay the black man. Anything to downplay the black man, they run with it.
No.
If it make us
No.
look bad, this is why black women. Here's another question I got for black women, right? Why do they support LGBT and so much?
I don't.
Why do they
That's
love them
split
so
in
much
half.
and
But
don't
I
support their
do-
man?
I
They do
don't
not support their man at home
them,
the way
but
they
you
support
know
them.
what? I accept that's a lifestyle as far as I'm concerned, but to each his own. So I don't judge them in any kind of way. You keep what you do over there and just
Mhm.
don't try to enforce it on me, and we're good.
No, but I understand. But let's say transgenders, right? Let's say like
Mhm.
D Wade, for example, what he's doing to his son,
Oh,
right?
God,
I see when you read the comments, anytime they put up a story about them, when you read the comments, it's mostly black women saying, "Oh, let them do what they want to him, blah blah blah, blah, whatever," right? And what they don't seem to understand is when these men are turning into women, they're stealing positions from other women. Biden gave an award for a courage award to a man the
Yeah.
other day with a wig
yeah.
on. So you mean to tell me there was no woman in America that it did anything that was more courageous than what that man with a wig on did? It doesn't make any sense to me.
So
It doesn't make
yeah.
no sense. And black women are right behind. They're cheering this stuff on. And to me, it just seems like anything that makes the black man look bad, they're going to support it.
I think
That's how it
that
looks to me.
I think that Black women are always trying to fit places where they don't belong.
Exactly.
Herd mentality. That's what I look at it as.
Mhm.
I agree 100%.
Yes.
And it's things like that I really don't understand. And it's like I try to, and then you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna wait until it's gonna get bad to the fact where you're gonna have 20 scholarships that's gonna be handing out, and 15 of them gonna go to transgender women or transgender men. And all of a sudden they're gonna start saying, "Oh, wait a minute, this is not really working out for us." You mean it? So 15 of us out of the 20 scholarships went to biological men. I think we have a
Right.
problem. No, you should have thought about that when the first one went to a man.
In
That's what
the
you should have said that
beginning,
was a
Black
problem.
women were against it. They were against it. And then they used the mind control thing and tried to,
So, Black Lives Matter.
they did
Yeah,
a
that
compelling
nonsense.
thing, like, yeah. And then it became split, you know.
That's another nonsense movement. And I've been saying, you know, I was crucified for saying that Black Lives Matter was nonsense. Not
Yeah.
everyone's on the same page.
Because who was
Hey, Eric, I'm
behind,
sure
who
you
was
remember that, Eric.
that we were just,
Yeah.
no, Black people was just used as pawns behind, who was
Exactly.
behind the Black Lives Matter?
LGBT
Correct,
and white people.
correct.
And I said that. The day one I said that, I got cursed out. People unfollowed me off Instagram, Facebook, all types of stuff. And now look at y'all. Now look at them. They all want to be my friend again. Look at them. I said that. Just man.
And no, it's definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, gosh.
and the thing
Say
is,
bye.
I think that everything
Bye, guys.
that's put out there, Black women feel that they have to follow it. And I'm gonna use my favorite one. That freaking eyelash that look
I
like a
look for
deer
it.
running out this, like,
I look
you
for it
don't see
downstairs.
white people doing that. How many white people you see have the eyelash like deer horns? Nobody.
I had two like this.
Your hands.
Okay, so it's just
Nah.
crazy.
Nah, man.
Everything that's out, Black women feel like they need to follow suit,
Mhm.
But
even if the shit
sometimes,
don't look good.
sometimes
Extra.
I think we just like to play follow the leader.
That's exactly. But
Follow the
even if,
leader,
but you know what, for
follow the
me,
leader.
the worst thing is some of these women have a husband or somebody at home, can't they just say, baby, you look like shit?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny that you say that? I had a student yesterday tell me that I need to watch what I say because I'm too truthful.
But
I'm like-
you
and
know
I'm like-
what? You think about it from the standpoint of them telling you that, because everything become offensive. And you remember, you're an educator. So from that standpoint, you do have to be mindful of what you say, because they're gonna say you're racist. Even if they're black too, they'll say you're racist against certain lifestyle that they have, anything that they can use to take you down.
My eye.
Yeah, because you're not saying what they want you to say.
Right.
You're not talking to the beat of their, you're not dancing to the beat of their drum. So
That's right. And look at now, people could say anything that they want about black people, right? But you can't say it against any other body. Otherwise, you're racist,
Nope.
you offend them. You can't say
Yeah.
anything about gays, lesbian, or anything, whether it's true or not. You
in
can't
the
say,
car.
but they can say things about black people, whether it's true or not.
Yeah, even in the church, they can't bring that type of topic up, congregation. So it's definitely watch what you say. If you
Right.
can't speak the truth in the church,
You can't speak
Yeah.
truth no way. You can't speak truth anywhere, because everything hurts
Well,
somebody's
yeah,
Yeah,
feelings.
fix it.
right? But if it's
But nobody cares if they hurt our feelings.
Mm.
But we had our own feelings. They don't need to do it for us.
That's true. That's true.
because we haven't been united as a people still, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I just feel like if we learn as black women, I break it down to you. I just
Well,
feel
it
like
was
if black
there.
women realize
Changed. The togetherness for the man and woman has changed, but the diversity of what you were talking about earlier, that the option for the black male outside of the black woman is more than the option for the black woman, no matter where you are in the diaspora, outside of the black man. They just don't have that option.
That's okay. So one of the other reason why women leave men is because of the codependency relationship. What that means is that I am doing too much, or he's doing too much that's suffocating me.
What do you mean doing too much?
There's some women, like we talked about last week, that I'm either the mommy role or the daddy role. Like, you don't give me that space to breathe and do. You're doing. Like, you become the kid. Or for the woman, you gotta get permission where you going. Hey, don't like this, or you have to cook my food. You gotta do this. So you need allowance. You gotta know what you're doing with your money. So it's kind of like you're dependent on that person solely, and also getting permission to do whatever it is that you're doing. So they become that codependent. So you're suffocated. And I think one of the ones that I mentioned before was the past heartbreak, that you fear that things are going to be repeated. And you look at your past relationship, and so it's either you're afraid that that person going to do to you what the other person did, or you're afraid that maybe I may harm that person, or I'm not good enough. If that person is extremely good to you, you think there's a motive behind it.
But that's kind of crazy to me. Don't you want somebody that you think is too good for you?
Well,
But suppose you believe that I'm not deserving of it,
well, some people honestly believe that.
Yes, they do.
And
Or they'll ask,
that's a truism.
right, why do you love me? What about me that you like? What did you see in me? All those questioning that you feel you're not worthy of it.
And it's an inferiority complex that they have, and they don't feel like they're deserving of it, because sometimes the relationships that they have, they were told all along that they were not worthy. And then some person comes along and treats them like they're more than worthy, and they can't believe it.
They can't believe it. So they
Here's
sabotage
the
it.
thing though with that. Here's the thing though with that. Whose responsibility is that to take care of that? If that's the issue that you have
That's what
and
I'm
yourself,
saying.
whose responsibility is that for you to take care of?
But no, but that's what we're saying is part
That's
of the
what we.
issues that one deals with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, they have
It
to
seems
deal
to me
with
there's a
that
lot of
themselves, Dwayne.
excuses. Yeah,
But
they
Dwayne,
definitely do.
that's
It seems to me like there's always excuses given out for women when they make these rash or irrational
no,
decisions. There's
no,
always
but Dwayne, it's not a rash decision because goes to the point as if you like, for example, women who has been through domestic violence or rape, right? They feel dirty, they feel unclean. Here comes this man that's treating them good. They don't feel worthy of that, because those are all traumas, so they bring it into that relationship, but you're suffering from that fear. Yes, it was their responsibility to go get help. They didn't do it, but they still live in that constant fear. It's kind of like men
no, I
said, I
understand,
got to
but you're
get
talking about a
myself
very
together.
small.
But
You're
it's
talking about
not
a very
right.
small percentage of women.
It's a
But
small, but
So I'm
it's
saying
also,
on average.
but it's also a reason.
On
So
average, right?
mm.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, we're talking about the reasons why, and that falls into a reason why.
Yes.
No, I understand it, but a lot of what I'm saying is a lot of the reasons that I hear seems to be like a lot of, instead of people. Okay, for instance, right? If a man, let's say I'm married to my wife and I have an alcohol problem, right? It's up to me. No one's gonna look at me and say. No one's gonna look at no one's gonna give me any sympathy. They're gonna say he's an alcoholic. He lost his family because he chose the bottle over his family, right? So as a men, we have to take responsibility for every decision that we make, right? There's nobody giving us excuses. Nobody feels sorry for us. None of that. If a friend of mine was to come to me and say, "Yo, I lost my family because I became alcoholic," I'm going to tell him you need to fix yourself and get your family back. But if it's vice versa, if the woman is the one with the alcohol problem and she lost her family because of alcohol, they're not going to speak the same way about her that they speak about the man. They're not going to say, "Oh, she lost her family." They're going to say, "Oh, she had a problem and her husband left her." So it seems like when women have these issues, like women have these mental issues or they have these emotional issues that they for some reason, it's always everyone else's fault. It's never their fault. So
Well,
at what
it's
point do
not
they
a
stop and
fault.
say,
We're not saying it's fault. Last week we did men, though, and it's glad you missed it because we talked about all the excuses that reason for men. We just
I
happen
wish I
to
was there for that.
covering. We just happen to be covering women this week. Men have excuses too. I mean, and you're right. Of course, there's more prejudice against men and excuses that they are women. Nevertheless, it's still excuses, reasons, whatever you want to call them.
Well, justifications, whatever.
Right. I mean, if I have something going on with me and it doesn't matter if that's the way I feel and if I never got treatment for how I feel. For example, a lot of women who has been, and there's a lot of women who at an early age been molested, right? They still live with that, especially if they never got help to overcome it. They may get married because like sometimes it's expected of them, or they get into that marriage thinking that that's going to cure them, but they didn't cure it before. So they live in that constant fear. Is 9 out of 10 times, is their marriage going to last? No. Because at some point that's going to show up.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's what I'm saying, is those are just reasons why women leave. So it's, there's a whole lot of them. There's excuses for men too. Men can be like, okay, I'm done, I'm tired of you, or you may marry for financial reasons. Anything out of love is a possibility that your marriage is not going to last because you have an agenda. Sometimes I know love don't work either, but anything other than that, there's an agenda.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I just feel like
Back in the days, women used to marry. Back in the days, why did women get married? For security, right?
Right. Protection.
Yeah.
Exactly. Today, the women are not married for that. It's a whole different breed.
Right.
They married. Why did they get? Well, they're not getting married now, so that's the problem.
They're not getting married now, exactly. But you know what? Let me tell you the strangest thing. I did a party last weekend, and there was like 16 white women.
Mhm.
They range from the 40s up to, I guess the only one was like 60. And it just brought me to mind, because Erica told you, they sat there and they were like, some of them was married and divorced, but the majority of them had children but weren't married. They didn't want a man. All they want, it was interested in, okay, I can screw him and he better don't call me. So I was looking at them like, oh wow, they have the either that man mentality, don't call me, I'll call you. And it was very strange to see that.
But that's not even strange, because again, like when you watch television shows, like what was it back in the day? Sex in the City and all these different things. It was because remember, again, because Dwayne talked about this earlier, but the feminist movement started as a result of white women. And any time that any movement in America was made about women and their freedom, it was always associated with sex.
Yeah.
Because even like when women started smoking cigarettes, what's the thing that you said? What was the slogan? Something of freedom. So what they did was they lit a bunch of cigarettes during a Macy's parade and called it something of freedom, and it was like them and them smoking a cigarette was synonymous with them now having a penis. And it's like,
They want to be men so bad.
like just the white psyche within itself is just crazy.
No,
But that's a different topic for a different day. But my
Yeah.
thing is, again, all these movements that have happened, it's been to make society more chaotic for other people.
Yeah.
That's why.
Exactly.
That's why, and that's why, again, going back to women talking about they want equality, blah blah blah. My thing is, if from United States go to war with these other countries who believe in the old school mentality, like men lead and women follow, compared to America, where now the thing is like women lead and men follow, hopefully, like America's gonna have a problem because China's not
They
playing.
have a problem
Don't
now.
worry,
That's the thing.
war done, the
China's not gonna
women
play
will
this
fight.
game.
They will have no choice. They will fight. It's
But you
Who's
see,
gonna fight?
but you see,
Who's gonna fight?
historically, when the men cowered, the women got up and fought. So it would be just a repeat of history.
What history was that?
I'm sorry, what nation where the
Yeah,
men cower?
Satwa.
Well, yeah, what history is that? I've never
Read about
heard in my
Yang
life.
Satwa, and you know what I'm talking about.
No. So that's a different story because most of the men died during war. So the women
No,
were
they didn't
forced
want to
now
fight
step
the
up.
British. And she said to them that if you don't want to fight, you could wear my breeches. And then she led the women into
Again,
battle.
so let me say
After
it
when the
again.
women were
Let me say
defeating the
it again.
British, the men
Most of the men
joined in.
died.
Alright.
That's why.
No,
Oh,
there was a council where she cursed them out because they refused to fight. And she told them,
okay.
if
So
you
so let
refuse
me
to
say this
fight,
again.
we are
Let
going
me
to
say this
fight.
again.
And they began fighting.
Most
History
of
writes
the
if you want
men
to, but that's
died.
history. No,
Most of the
read the
men
history.
died.
They did not die. She was
So
in
the
a
ones
council
that were
arguing
left
with
over
them
clearly weren't
because they
men.
refused to fight the British. They did not want to fight.
Okay, so let me say it again. Most of the men died. So the ones that
And
were
then there
left
was Queen
clearly
Candace
weren't
of
men.
Ethiopia. That was another one. When the men didn't want to fight, she picked up and she fought. I mean, women will fight if they have to. Push come to
Yeah,
shove. And that's
key word if they have to.
that's
They
what I
always take
said.
second. They always
I
take
said, if the
they always take
men
second place in
run
anything that's
away,
stuff like
the
that.
women will fight if they have to. That's all I
Key
said.
word is if they have to. Yeah.
If the men run away, is
Women,
the
men
key
don't
word.
have a choice. Men don't have a
The
choice.
key word is not if they have to. The key word is if the men run away. That's the key word.
No, that's not the key word because real men don't run away. The men that's running away
Let's
aren't
hope it
men.
stay real forever.
That's exactly
Let's
what I
hope
just
it's
said.
the
When the
movement that's
real
going on
men
now don't
died
take
in
over.
Africa, it was the other ones were like, I'm not gonna play this battle. I'm not gonna fight this war.
Exactly.
Because the real
Exactly.
leaders
Unmute,
of that
Michael.
society.
Unmute. He's muted.
Yeah, what I'm saying is though, you can't. I don't know in history where women led the charge first. Like they were the first ones up. Women are never the first ones
Nanny
up
of
when
the
it comes to
Maroon.
anything that's manly. Anything that's manly, like chopping down a tree,
I could keep
fighting
going
off
on.
animals, police work. fighting off, anything manly that requires that is a very manly thing to do. You don't see a lot of women that want to do it. They refuse to do it. They only want to do things that's convenient. They don't want to do jobs that's convenient. They want to
Of
be the
course
president
not.
or
We
CEO
have
of the
you
company,
guys to
but they
do it.
don't want to
That's
work
the
in the
point.
mailroom.
We don't want to do it.
Well,
We have you to do it.
You know what?
Just like
Yeah,
if you
but
guys ran away and disappeared, we will do it. That's all I'm saying.
No, but Dwayne,
yeah, but
because,
what I'm saying is that's still second place though.
but
You're not the
Dwayne,
first
those
one.
of us,
You're not on the first
I'm not
line. You're on the
saying
second,
we
third
are. You're
line.
missing my point. You're missing my point. My point is, if God just erased all of you guys off the planet of the earth right now, we would have no
Mhm.
choice but to. That's all I'm saying.
You guys
Well,
couldn't
first
survive
of all,
without us.
if all the men were eliminated off the face of the earth, there wouldn't be
you would have no more
there wouldn't be
children.
fight.
Yeah.
No, but the thing about it is though, it's just mostly young generation. Us older, we think differently. We don't want to climb pole. We don't want to dig ditches. We don't want to do none of the things that you mentioned, Dwayne. Is this young
I know.
generation that they want to be, as you guys would put it, masculine?
No, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it neither. It's just something to say just because it sounds cool. Because because
Yeah.
again, I tell people this all the time. There's no such thing as equality. Because my thing is, Dwayne, how tall are you? You like 6'4", right?
Yeah, 6'3".
Okay, I'm 6 feet. Me and Dwayne are not equal. If he can do something that I can do, we're not equal. So when people keep talking all this equality nonsense, no, because my thing is, even when they put like women into like the police force, they put them into fire department. My thing is, and when people say this, like people get mad, but reality of it is, if there's a fire and somebody has to pull me out the fire, I don't want no woman to try to pick me up to put me on her back, because realistically, it's not going to happen.
It's true.
I'm 230 pounds. If there's a 100-pound woman that's coming, she's not going to succeed in this.
Yeah, exactly.
She wants you to lift her up.
Exactly.
Okay. Hello, Michael.
Hi,
Welcome.
welcome. Thank you. Just listening. I just saw I came across it when I was looking on Facebook. So I said, let me just join in and listen to the conversation.
We're talking about why women leave good men. Mm.
Yeah, I could think of a couple of good reasons.
Okay, so you mind sharing with us a couple of your good reasons?
All right. Sometimes they leave a good man because they just don't know. Sometimes I feel women, depending on the age and things, they don't know what they want. They don't know what they're looking for.
That depends on the age.
I'm saying, like some women, they're like, there was a woman I was seeing at one point. I was married, I got divorced, and there was one woman I was seeing, and she was just younger than me. But when I would come home from whatever I was doing, and I just, chill and relax, and she would say, let's meet up or whatever. And I would be like, I'm, not today, I'm not. And she would like, well, what's your, how, why? So if we were together and I would do that, she wouldn't want to be dealing with me. And so sometimes, and even though I probably provide all the things she needs, she would feel she'd rather go with somebody that's more, more outgoing or have more energy. It's a lot of different reasons why women do it. So I'm just.
But Michael, you said she was young, so maybe she expected the same energy that she had from you.
That's what I'm saying. And I was only 5, but it's just the things I do, huh?
I was thinking that's not even logical. How much younger was she?
Just 5 years.
Oh, I thought you meant like younger.
No. There's some women that they're in their 40s, but they still want to live a young life. There's some men that in their older ages, and they still want to try to live a young life.
Yes.
You already passed that time. You can't get that age back, huh? You can't get 20 back.
Trying to get it back. Yeah.
Right. You can't get that back.
Mm.
You ain't gonna be able to do the same things you did at 20.
So, but that's another problem that within our society in general, because people don't accept getting older.
Yep.
That'd be me.
My thing is, like, I see even like some of my coworkers where, I just left. It's like you pushing 50 and you still talking about, you still have these ridiculous goddamn eyelashes on your face. You still trying to do TikTok video dances. It's like, bruh, you too
How
old
old
for
are
this.
you?
And that's the sad thing is you can't in society nowadays, you can't tell the difference between a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, and a 50-year-old, which is
Is
a
that-
scary
Yeah.
thing.
But that's only in action. That's only in action because by looks, you definitely can tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not only
I don't
looks
know,
good.
man. It's
It's
I just feel like women don't even know what they want to eat. So I don't really know how you expect them to know what they actually want in a man until they'll know what they want when they find it. That's when they realize what they
Okay,
want.
so one of the things that I saw that they said that after women is, I don't want to use that word, but that's what they use, so I'm gonna quote them. Used up, have in the younger days, and as they get older, that's when they start looking for that good man.
That's a fact.
Oh yeah. I had that happen to me not too long ago.
That's a fact.
Like chick
That's
with
definitely
3
a fact.
children talking about some like somebody made this comment earlier. You can't control what the heart likes or something like this. I'm like, no, you can. Because based
can.
on information, this is how I make my decision. First of all,
Yeah.
you got 3 children. You make under $30,000. So like it's just not gonna work out between me and you. There's no advantage for me to even mess with you because what am I getting out of this?
Nothing.
Children,
that's true. And then you probably already
You're
raised your
getting a
own kids,
ready-made
too.
family.
Ready-made.
yeah, but one thing I noticed with that, just from seeing it happen to people that I know, after first of all, they don't allow their kids to respect you as the man. They
Yep,
just want you
exactly.
to take care of the kids. After the kids grow up, they don't need you. They dump you like you're garbage because you done did
And go
what
back
they
to the
wanted
trash
you
they
to
was with
do.
before.
Oh
Right.
yeah. I've seen that happen to people too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now
Right,
you
man.
can understand why when guys say they don't want to raise somebody else's child.
No, it's not easy.
Yeah, I don't. Me personally, I would date a woman with kids. I would never say I wouldn't. It all depends on the situation, though, and and it also depends on who your child's father is. If your child's father is Tyrone from the block, I would never give you the time of day.
Because
Never.
he's gonna come knocking anytime. I mean,
It's
I
not,
could
I'm not worried
say
about him. I question her moral,
more.
her decision making. Yeah, her decision making. If you lay down and have babies with a guy like that, what type of woman are you?
Mm-hmm.
So what about if the shoe was on the other foot?
Take it off.
Yeah, I expect.
What do you mean? What do you mean? If
I
I
expect the
was a
same.
man,
That's how men
No,
think.
well, if you had children, now how would you feel about her accepting you?
I would expect the same thing from her. Men are
exactly.
logical, so it only makes sense. It only makes sense that if I had,
Exactly.
let's say I have 5 women, and the woman comes to me and says, "No, I can't take you seriously because you have a commitment problem." How would I looking at that woman like, no, you're the one. Trust me. Don't look at these 5 women. No, that doesn't make any sense. I would expect that. But for some reason, a woman will come to you with multiple kids, with multiple guys, and they expect you to, they can't believe that you don't want to date them. They're like, oh my God, how could you not? You're not going to give me a
It's crazy.
chance? No, I'm not.
I've seen women who say this, like, even though I have all these children, my boyfriend, he don't need to have any children because I don't want to deal with any baby mama drama. Yeah. But it's like, but we gonna be dealing with baby father drama. So why, like, that? What you're saying don't make sense.
Yeah.
She is the baby mama drama. That's the funny part. You are the baby mama drama. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense, man. That's why I don't. When it comes to things like that, and let's say somebody was to come to me and say, "Hey, what type of woman has your kids?" And if I say, "Yeah, my wife has an MBA. She has her own business. She's doing this, she's doing that. We just didn't work out." I would think a woman would respect that versus me saying, "Oh, my wife was a stripper,
Mm.
and you know, we just didn't work out."
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
'cause
to me, it just doesn't make any
yeah, 'cause-
sense. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
because
saying?
that's another thing. That's another thing that's going around social media too, and even like in society, where women think that they could have sex with Tom, Dick, and Harry, and think that they're going to get like like a real decent man. Like
What's the
no
No,
man
high
is
it's not
gonna.
gonna
value?
happen.
Yeah,
The high value man?
No, yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Eric,
It's not gonna happen. I consider myself a high value man, and I would never in life look at a woman like that. If you gave it to everybody, what is it worth?
mhm.
What do
exactly.
you call something that everybody has? Who do you call something that everybody has? It's called worthless. Everybody has it is worthless. So it's the same thing when we look at that. And we're not saying her life is worthless or, you know, her, you know, we're not saying she's worthless, but we're talking about as far as on the sexual market is concerned, it's not worth a lot. If everybody had it, why do I want it? What is the perk of me? What is the perk of me saying I have this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how people say, I have a 1997 Michael Jordan basketball card. That card is valuable because no one else has that card, right? But
Exactly.
if everyone had a 1997 Michael Jordan basketball card, the card would be worthless because everybody has it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's when it comes to women. And I think women want men to change the way they look at things. It doesn't work like that. We're hardwired to think this way.
No,
You can't
but
really
see,
change.
but
This is not
right,
Uh,
but the opposite is fine because men get cheered on the more women they sleep with versus a woman.
yeah,
Yeah, but because there's a reason for that. Because
exactly.
there's a
We're
whole
sleeping
bunch,
with them.
there's a whole bunch of virgin males that's sitting around. It's easier for females to have sex than
Mhm.
it is for men.
Yeah. And there's usually a small percentage of women that's having sex with a lot of them anyway.
Exactly.
So you can't really blame, you know, just like it's a small percentage of deadbeat dads. You know, I like talking about that all the time because that's another thing that women are delusional with. If you let them tell it, every black man is a deadbeat. But that, I think they said only like 9% of men, 7 to 9% of men don't take care of their kids. But you let these women tell it, it's, you know, 75% of men don't take care of their kids. When they don't realize they keep having babies with the same trifling man that got multiple baby mothers already, thinking that they're going to be special. And just like Eric said, then when you're done, that's when somebody says, "Well, I deserve a good man to come and save me." No, you don't. You already made the decisions that stopped you from getting that. So now you got to live with it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I tell my daughters the same thing. I'll tell them the exact same thing I'm telling y'all right now. Look, you're going to be judged based off the decisions that you made. So, you know,
Correct.
make sure you're making the decisions wisely because you will be judged on them, especially with other men. You know, and
Correct.
men can be as hypocritical as we want to be. We can, you know, you can have a man that'll sleep with 20 different women in a week.
And he's
And
the
then look down
boss.
at you for sleeping with, yeah, and he'll look down at you for sleeping with one man. You slept with him, oh my God. That's just how men are.
Correct.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So because I don't think most women don't sleep around. Like majority of women don't sleep around, which is a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Well,
You
I
know what I mean?
don't.
Oh, that's good. Good.
Thanks for letting us
And
know
the
that.
thing is
Thanks, Spice
sometimes
Girl.
no, and then no, and then
Thanks for clearing that
sometimes
up.
huh?
Thanks for
I
letting
said
us
thanks for
know.
clearing that up.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know the thing is the minute people see, I have a lot of male friends, and if as a woman, if people see you have a male friend, they just assume that you sleep with them.
Wow.
No, but no, seriously,
Not
if
necessarily.
they see you with different men, they swear that, oh wow, she had this one last week, that one last week.
But Beverly,
I have
What you mean
male
by
friends
different
that
men,
just
though?
like
It
to hang
only
out with
takes-
me and take me to.
but it
no,
only takes one person to start the gossip,
correct, but
and then it
correct.
goes around.
Exactly. Or if they see you go places, because for me, I could, if I wanted to hang out and I said, you know what, okay, God, we not hanging out today, I hang out with somebody else. The minute that you hang out with somebody, you're judged. Like I have my male friend take me to breakfast or dinner. And we sit there and BS, talk crap, and that's it.
Mhm.
But people see you,
Yeah,
oh
no.
wow, she had him last week, here go this one, you know? I'd have men come sit here and we have conversation. Ain't nothing happening because guess what? I'm not attracted to you that way. And I'm sure you're not, if you are to me that way, you kept it to yourself.
Right.
It's like they say it's hard for men to have female friends without thinking about them that way. I mean, for
Now let me
me,
tell you, I got a little theory about that. Why men get friend zoned and still
Mr.
stay there.
Edwards,
Good evening.
I got a little theory why men get friend zoned and stay in the friend zone, right? Women have a tendency of changing their mind when it comes to men. So they'll meet a guy that they're not attracted to. They'll get to know the guy, start liking the guy, end up being with the guy. But when it's the other way around, I don't know a lot of stories of a man meeting a woman, not liking her, and all of a sudden fall in love with her and get married. I don't really hear a lot of stories like that. Usually the men liked her and he had to convince the woman to like him. So I think the reason why that usually happens is because men think they can change women's minds when it comes to, when it comes to that.
But you see
That's the
now,
only reason, man, because there's really no reason.
but you see, we don't have that courting like we used to back then. Because most people feel that we're adults and we can do whatever we want, and that's how the sleeping around thing goes on. Because then when you figure that you can sleep with her for the first night or after the first week, then you abandon her, then she's alone, and because she's alone, that woman, is free to make a decision, because we all make decisions on who we want to be with and who we don't want to be with. And things don't work out sometimes because there's a difference with being friends. Like I had a conversation with somebody, just a regular conversation, there's a difference with having sex with somebody and making love to somebody.
That's a
There's
fact.
a difference where the young people talk about jump off, and even adults have them. And even you got old men and older men talking about booty call.
I thought jump off was only for the husband that had the side fish.
Oh,
No,
and you're
no,
talking
no,
about
you
a
could be-
lot of oldie young people now.
Where is this conversation going right now?
I don't know. Y'all just threw that all out of proportion and all out of y'all own thing going there. But y'all know that's what we do, right?
Yeah,
I'm-
I just feel like there's a lot of
I'm sorry, say that again, Stan?
Sound like real life to me.
Yeah, well, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We start off on topic, and then after that,
Hey,
we
Mike.
just
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
What's going
one?
on, man?
Not much.
How you been?
I've been fine.
That's good. Great to see you, man.
Thanks. Just doing stuff in the studio, that's all.
I hear you.
it seems like everybody, majority of here is Mike. Oh, the other one left. All right, guys. It was good.
Yeah,
Great topic, good conversation.
definitely. I wish we can have.
always.
We can agree to disagree. Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah.
All right, my people who watching live, good night.
Somebody play Percy Sledge. When a man loves a woman.
You should put it on since you have it. Right, she can do no wrong, right? Until she break that.
Turn his back on his best friend.
I've got the solo going.